Yes, yes, man. We're back in the damn building. Yes, you already know the vibes already. I don't need to explain myself. We're here with another top 10. And today we're taking a look at the center of the park, midfielders. Now, obviously, I could have done this many different ways, right? I could have separated it and done defensive midfielders, central, and then attacking. But I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, man. We're going to go central midfielders, midfielders, and then attacking midfielders all rolled into one. They're all part of the same family anyway. So I said, you know what? It's better if I do it this way. So obviously, when you guys give me your top 10 in regards to the central midfield, I need you to think of all of the midfielders. So attacking midfielders like the Cole Palmers of this world, Jamal Musialas, and then defensive midfielders, the Caicedos, the Rodris, and all these kind of guys, right? I need you to group them all into one because the reality is for me, I just didn't really feel like it made sense kind of chopping it up into like three different sections. I feel like, you know what? If I feel like you're the best midfielder, then I'm going to call you the best midfielder. I'm not going to say you're the best attacking midfielder because the reality is I'm going to look at you the same way I would look at a central midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Like Rodri, people would say as an example, when Rodri, won the Ballon d'Or, people weren't talking about, oh, he's just the best defensive midfielder. No, they were calling him just the best midfielder. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter about all the other little subsections of midfield. It was just midfield, right? So that's exactly how we're going to do it. So enough talking. Let's just get straight into it. In number 10, I've got Valverde, Real Madrid's Valverde. Always liked him. Always liked him. I've always just thought that he, at first, right, when people were very, very gassed on him and they thought, yeah, no, he's, I didn't really see it. I'll be real. I used to just think he's just kind of not basic, but there's no USP, if that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? He ain't really got that, unique selling point. He ain't really got that kind of niche. He ain't really got that little thing that the, and I'm not saying be on this level, right? So I just need to caveat that. But like Zidane, like the Iniestas, like these kind of players, like Modric, Cruz. Like I'm looking at, okay, yeah, they've got this one thing about them that makes them who they are, and then everything else obviously is just really elite at what they do. But yeah, with Valverde, I never really saw it, but now when I kind of watch him, I'm like, the thing is though, you might not have like necessarily a USP, so to speak, but you are very good at everything that you do though. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you're excellent engine, very, very versatile, got a brilliant shot on him, fantastic technique, can pass the football, can get up and obviously up and down the football pitch. Positional IQ, brilliant. Like I said, I've seen him in, obviously that goes hand in hand with the versatility, but I've seen him in different positions. I've seen what he's like. I've seen how he operates in those positions. Does not look out of place whatsoever. I would only say maybe in the last couple years, maybe just my rating of him has maybe potentially gone down, whereas maybe before he might have been a bit further up this list. I just think, obviously, coupled with the fact that Real Madrid, obviously, last season were really, really poor. Season before that, obviously, they won the Champions League, but I didn't really feel like he was that great. To be honest, I did think that there was better midfielders out there anyway when that kind of happened. But he's been so good for such a long time. I would say in the last 5 years, probably something like that. When I've looked at Valverde, he's gone from strength to strength to strength. I think he's just reached this level where it's like I can, even me being just consistent is still enough to be called one of the best midfielders in the world, if that kind of makes sense. Like he hasn't necessarily gone above and beyond that into the Cruisers or the Modric kind of world. Obviously, they're legends of the game kind of thing. But he's at this point now where like even me being calm is still way better than 90% of the others. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Hey, listen, top midfielder. Rate what he's been doing. Rate what he has done for Real Madrid. So let's wait and see, man. Let's wait and see. In ninth, I've gone with Frankie De Jong. I've done a video on De Jong, but more importantly, those who know me anyway, I was never really, again, he's another, I'm never really a big fan of him. He's got USP. That's the maddest thing. It wasn't even about that for me. I just felt that when he first came to Barcelona, listen, whether you think deserved the move or not, obviously he played well for Ajax in it. Whether that means you warrant a Barcelona move, I don't really know. But either way, he deserved the move regardless. When he got to Barca, obviously Barca were going through their own kind of problems, managerial, financial, off-field, stadium, all this kind of stuff, right? Everything was kind of compiled really into one. And I think when I watched Frankie de Jong, he just looked like you didn't really know what was going on. You didn't really know okay, is he going to play here? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? Like it wasn't really clear as to what his kind of role would be within the team. And I think that's why I kind of looked at him and thought, I don't really know. And it's only really been, I would say, in the last, if you count last season, would say last season, obviously started this season really well. So we're saying the last 2 to 3 seasons where he's finally kind of cemented what his role is within the team. Do you get what I'm saying? Like he's actually, oh, okay, cool. This is what he does. This is what he's going to bring to the team. Before it was obviously Busquets was obviously still there. Where does he play? Is he a DM? Is he under Coman? Is he going to be more of an attacking midfielder? Is he going to be box to box? Is he going to? It was too much shifting around. Like you just didn't really have that one position. Whereas now under Hansi Flick, he's got that. You're seeing that quality. You really, really are seeing that quality. So, yeah, got him in ninth. Eighth, I've gone with Deckers. Deckers. A lot of people, with Declan Rice, it's always a funny one, man. I sort of understand why people don't necessarily rate him. I just think it's more to do, not necessarily to do with the talent. I think it's more to do with the price that Arsenal paid for him. People sometimes kind of look at that and think, I don't really know about that one. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't really know if he's worth the kind of money that you're about to spend, and I get it. It's typical English tax. It's West Ham. You know what I mean? They wanted the bread. Look at West Ham now; they've been absolutely rubbish. So clearly, do you get what I'm saying? This is always going to help them in that kind of way. And like I said, I do kind of understand as to why some people look at it like that. But if you just stripped away the fee, I think he's one of the best midfielders out there. I think he's got so much in his locker, so much in his locker. Do you get what I'm trying to say? He is someone who can get up and down the pitch like a Valverde. He is someone, when you're actually watching him in possession and stuff like that, comfortable. Like there's no uncomfortability about him whatsoever. I'm not saying he's the silkiest. I'm not saying he's a Vitinha Pedri because he's nowhere near that kind of level, but he's comfy. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't look at him and feel, oh, he looks awkward on the ball. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like if he needs to get forward, he seems to, his football IQ is very, very good because you can tell, obviously working under Mikel Arteta anyway, but even before that, you could tell he always knew when to pick the right moments to do certain things, whether that is dribbling forward, whether that is picking out a pass, which, by the way, he can do really, really well. Set piece delivery, absolutely excellent. One of the best in the Premier League, if not the best, at this current moment in time. Yeah, just an all-round really, really good player, really, really good player. And I think he's a player that you'd want to kind of have in your team. Leadership qualities off the roof. Yeah, really, really like Declan Rice, man. I think he's a top player. Next up, man, I've got Jamal Musiala. One of my favorite players out there in football. There's a few of them. But he's definitely one of them. Obviously injured now, so we're not probably going to see him. And maybe if I do this in like 6 to 8 months, probably won't make this top 10, or it will be very, very low at best. But yeah, listen, again, versatile individual, attacking midfielder, can play off the left. Obviously, he's played both off the left and, attacking midfield, can play up front. I've seen him play midfield. Like, honestly, aesthetically, he's one of the best on this list. He'd be top 3 probably on the list if we're just talking aesthetics. But when we're just talking about actual, what he can actually do on a football pitch, dribbling ability, close ball control, technique, finishing, bro, he's got so much in his locker. It is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, he's still young. You know what I'm saying? He's still relatively young. It's not even like this. He just feels like he's been about since been about. Like it just feels like that just because of, the type of player, that he is, how young he was, obviously starting for a Bayern Munich and stuff like that. But when I look at it now and I'm looking at the type of player that he is, honestly, I can't wait for the next level. And that for me is the key for him. It's all well and good, aesthetically pleasing and stuff like that. That's great. But if you can't take your game to that next level, then you're always going to be at this kind of level. And if he's not careful, and I say that just because, but if he's not careful, I feel like you'd end up just getting knocked out of these kind of lists, not because you're not good. Like, obviously, listen, even if you're the top 50 player in the world, you know what I mean? That's a fantastic feat anyway, because of how many football players there are. But you can just slowly slip down the list. Do you know what I mean? Like he almost needs to have that one season, that Rafinha type season, that Elise type season. The season where everyone's like, oh, like everyone literally sits back. Whereas I don't think he's really had that. He's had close to it maybe, but not yet. Not yet. I feel like you'll know when it comes. You'll just know when it comes. But listen, man, hopefully he comes back from injury very, very soon and he can just kind of show everybody what he's been about because, like I said, he's a really, really good player. Next up, just ahead of him, I've got Cole Palmer. If Jamal Musiala had not been injured, and he's going to be out for this amount of time, I probably would have swapped the two. But he just like Jamal Musiala, I think, especially in these, obviously, since joining Chelsea from Manchester City, big move, Didn't really know where that was going to go. Didn't know how it was going to kind of go, but he's taken it, in his stride. To be honest with you, he really, really has. You can see he's really turned into one of the better players in and around Europe. Just I think it's just his attitude towards everything. I think it's his whole demeanor, mentality. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he gives off this mentality of someone who doesn't really care, and he just, I don't know, like just a bit awkward or whatever. But on the pitch, he's not that. On the pitch, he's confident. You can see him snapping at players when he needs to snap at players, telling players what's what. The way he controls a football, the way he even plays, that kind of authority that Cole Palmer has on a football pitch. That yes, he'll walk around like the typical Messi stuff, but when he kicks into gear, it is absolutely peak. And he's been one of the best players in the Premier League since joining Manchester City, to be honest with you. So, yeah, definitely think he's one of the best midfielders out there. I find it difficult to see how he couldn't be, to be honest with you. But listen, I know some people are going to disagree. Just ahead of him, though, I've got his teammate. Just ahead of him. For me, probably, if I'm just talking out and out defensive midfielders, because obviously it's a bit difficult with some of these defensive midfielders like Joao Neves and stuff like that. Like I don't know what kind of position I would call you, but yeah, I think if we're just talking out and out, he's the best. I genuinely believe, Caicedo is the best defensive midfielder. Like in a double pivot. Whew, I mean, if you can't have the Pedris and the likes, boy, and not even if you can't have them, because that makes it sound like he's just second fiddle. If you're trying to go a different route in terms of what type of double pivot you want, so if you want like a Pedri style and then something a bit different to him, as opposed to Barca obviously got Pedri and De Jong, so obviously those two complement each other. But let's say you wanted to go with something different, like how Chelsea got Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, ridiculous. Like that is a perfect pairing. I think that's one of the reasons why Liverpool wanted to get in Moises Caicedo, to be honest with you. Pair him next to, Alexis McAllister, different Alexis McAllister. Now we're actually talking like he's actually a good player as opposed to what he is now. But Moises Caicedo, yeah, for me, best defensive midfielder, I think in Europe. I can't really think of anybody who's better than him in defensive midfield. I mean, you got Rodri, but Rodri's just more for legacy more than he is right at this current moment in time. And Moises Caicedo has been doing his thing for a hot minute. You get what I'm saying? I know everyone talks about his obviously first kind of season at Chelsea. I thought it was all right. Like I didn't really feel like it was that bad. Like, but again, price tag makes it look like, oh, it should be this, and I get it. I fully get it, but it's difficult with players in these kind of positions because remember they're not measured by goals or assists. So when you're not even measured by that, people can't really draw for too much stats. Now we're looking at your tackling and your interceptions and your passing accuracy and all of these kind of things. And now you really do need to get into the nitty gritty. But I mean, I ain't looked at the stats. I don't really care. For me, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. And yeah, he's been showing it really and truly since coming to England, to be honest with you. But just ahead of him, I have to have Rodri. I kind of had to. Listen, like I said, he's been injured for a long time. Obviously come back. I believe he's got injured again at the time of this video. So it's a bit peak for him at this current moment in time. Again, he's another one. Listen, if you don't this season, yeah, you could be knocked off this list. Like he could easily be knocked off the list, and not because he's not good, but all the other guys below him could easily just start having a really good season from here on out. And if he's not gonna have that, I'd have to knock him off the list, Ballon d'Or winner or not. That is one of the reasons why you're not main reason, but that's one of the reasons why I don't think you can knock him off this list because he's a recent Ballon d'Or winner. Do you know what I mean? This ain't like 20 years ago. No, he's a recent Ballon d'Or winner. So yeah, I feel like he deserved to be given the respect to be put on this list. And he's still a fantastic player. So he's still one of the best midfielders in the world, but he's just needs to get back to that kind of level. It's just how long that takes in comparison to when you start doing these top tens and stuff like that. But if you're just talking just in general, yeah, he has to be up there. He has to be up there. Top three selected. Third, Jude. One thing I'll say about Jude, yeah, and I remember having this debate with the guys in the group, right? I look at Jude and I'm like, you're not my style of player. Like, I don't like your style of football. I don't think it looks good. Again, aesthetics. This is what I'm saying, aesthetics. But it works for you, though. You look very clunky and awkward on the football. You look like someone who's kind of bundling through and stuff like that in the way that you dribble, the way that you move. But you've been able to kind of turn that into some type of art. And that's what I rate about Jude is that when I've seen him live anyway, it looks just like that. It looks awkward. But I promise you, everything is intentional. You could just see it in his eyes, you could see it in his face, you could see it in the moves that he does, and even the little step overs, little trick, anything like that. Movement with the ball, the way he shifts the ball, in certain actions, in certain situations. I look at that and I'm just like, yeah, you could tell this is all intentional and he means to do all of that kind of stuff, right? But listen, fantastic midfield. Obviously joined Real Madrid, had a brilliant first season, at Real Madrid, getting all those goals for them, helping them to win the La Liga, Champions League as well. He was excellent. He was excellent. And I think, the following season, it was just a bad season for Real Madrid in general. And now, obviously, under Xabi Alonso, maybe he's being asked to do a different role. Maybe he's been asked to do kind of different things. And I think that might potentially, from what I hear, Xabi Alonso really wants to try to get him in the team. That means he really does value everything that Bellingham does obviously bring, and there's obviously a reason for that. Like his performances, even if we just go back to Dortmund, his performances since then, he's just kind of taken his game to like a new level. And I think I just think that maybe he will hit this kind of next level. That's what it really is for a lot of these guys. Like, can you go to this next level? Whatever, and it's unfair because I shouldn't be measuring them to these other people, and I shouldn't really compare. But like, can you go into the realm of the Modric or the Cruisers where you're so good, or you're so world class, or you're so this that a bad season for you, isn't going to be isn't going to be looked at any other way than just, yeah, it was whatever kind of thing. People won't even remember. Like, could people even remember a bad Tony Cruz season? He's probably had better of them. He's probably had them. You just don't really remember them because he's had so many good ones, and he's so elite of a player that you don't really even think of it like that. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Listen, look, that's one thing. But listen, I think Jude, as much as I don't like his style, I still think he's the top player in it. Like he really does these things clutch as hell. So yeah, I think he deserved to be there. Second, I had to put in there, man. I think what he's done in the 1 year eclipses majority of this list. I think from what we've seen, and to be honest, by the way, if you've watched him at the beginning of this season, he's really started doing his thing. From someone who was at Wolves and couldn't even make the bench or couldn't even make the team, yeah, Wolves, and Wolves are crap, to then go to PSG and what you've done, integral to them winning the Champions League. I haven't seen many midfielders in a long time. Obviously, again, talking about the old school players, but in a long time, I haven't seen a midfielder come in and be that integral to a team winning a Champions League. Like, so important, where it's like, if you took him out, I don't think they would win the Champions League, in my personal opinion. I really don't. He was so excellent. I had to even put him. I said, nah, what I'm seeing in this 1 year, and you know me, I don't even like doing 1 year stuff. I'll give him 2 because he's been here for a minute, but this was the season. I didn't really feel like he was popping like that 2 seasons ago. I really didn't. I wouldn't even have put him on this list. I would have thought about him, maybe the top 50. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, Vitinha has to go in there. But definitely was not thinking about him. Yeah, he has to come in this season and do. No, I wasn't really thinking that. But he showed everybody he took his game to a next level. And that's what I love to see, is that even it's almost like it's done quietly, it's done in the background. You just take your game to a whole new level, kind of thing. And no one's really following, no one's really noticing, because again, your level might not have been that great. But once you take your game to the next level, if you believe in what you're all about, that level is going to eclipse a lot of other people. And in my opinion, it did. But unfortunately, it couldn't eclipse this guy. And I know this guy wasn't a Champions League winner, but I think from what we're seeing even this season, the way that people have spoken about him this season, the things that people have seen from him this season, I think it's probably fair to say that, yeah, probably Pedri's probably, yeah, the best midfielder in world football. Just in general. Obviously, if you want to bog it down to attacking midfield, whatever, that's fine. He's just the best midfielder, though. I think he eclipses whoever you think is the best DM, whoever you think is the best attacking midfielder. I think Pedri's better than both of those two players at what he does than what they do. So let's just say you think it's Caicedo and you think it's Cole Palmer, as an example, right? If you like whatever you think Cole Palmer is really, really good at, and like his thing about being a number 10, Pedri's better at what he does anyway. He's still better. It doesn't really matter. Better than Rodri, better than Vitinha, better than all of them. Or every single one of them. They're not reaching this guy's pinnacle. This guy is like a Xavi or Iniesta in this era. So you could say, obviously, that would make it unfair, but ultimately, that's what he's looking like to me. I'm like, you just look like that type of player. You really do. Like, you just look like a player that this is even below your kind of standards anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? Like everyone else is below your level, beneath you in some way, shape, or form, and you're just performing at a very calm level for you. I go back to the game against Barcelona, against Newcastle, that they played in the Champions League. The way that everyone was waxing lyrical, I was like, I don't know. I feel like he's played better against like Almira and that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't even all that great. It was a good performance. Like it was calm. It was like, it was all right. Like it was calm. Like it was. But again, that's the level. This is what I'm talking about when I tell about the other players. Can you get to this level where even you on a bad day is still way better than everybody else? And I don't think the other players are at that level yet. Maybe Rodri's been there, obviously, but just the other guys, should I say, where they're not really at that level yet. Where I'm like, you if you have too much of a bad period, you'll notice it too much. Whereas with this guy, even a so-called not so great game, it's still calm. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's just one of them things, man. It's just one of them things. But that's why I've got him at number 1. Let me know yours. Let's quickly run through the list, and then we will obviously head on out of here. But yeah, like I said, let me know yours in the comment section. So 10th, we've got Valverde. 9th, Frankie de Jong. 8th, Declan Rice. 7th, Jamal Musiala. 6th, Cole Palmer. 5th, Moises Caicedo. 4th, Rodri. 3rd, Jude Bellingham. 2nd, Vitinha. And in 1st, we have got Pedri. Let me know yours in the comment section, people. I'd love to know. Like I said, please join them all together. Central midfielders, attacking midfielders, DMs, all of that. Put them all together in one, and I want to see what your top 10 list looks like in the future. But I'll catch you guys soon, and make sure you stay locked in for the next video, because I think that one's going to be real interesting. Stay blessed. Catch you guys soon. Peace.